Hey, happy whatever o'clock on Blur's Day, because who knows what day today is. Let's talk to the filmmakers behind the indie sci-fi film Save Yourselves! Welcome to the Film Threat Podcast. I am Chris Gore. I am so pleased to talk to the filmmakers today behind Save Yourselves. As you know, I'm a big fan of indie sci-fi. I think what I love about indie sci-fi is that it doesn't center around spectacles so much as ideas and interesting character interplay, and you can find that in abundance in Save Yourselves. Let's talk to the team behind Save Yourselves. Alex H. Fischer and Eleanor Wilson, welcome to the Film Threat Podcast. Good to see you.
Hi, Chris. Happy Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. I was talking to a friend. I'm like, I don't even know what day. It's Blur's Day, right? Every day when you're in a lockdown and during a pandemic, that's the way it is. This film is so special and fun and different from independent sci-fi that we've seen. Where the heck did you come up with this, and how did you find? I also have to ask about the amazing cast as well. But let's start with just like where this idea came from.
Sure. Yeah, it was really just rooted in, a deep fear of being on off your phone and something terrible happening. So that was kind of the kernel. And then we thought
Eleanor,
aliens.
Yeah, aliens. What's the worst thing that could happen? Eleanor was like a little worried when her phone had bad signal, and it just evolved to what's the worst possible thing? Alien invasion.
Yeah. That was how it all started, and then Alex and I just decided that'd be a fun thing to write, and slowly it sort of evolved into more of a metaphor, I guess, and then all of a sudden it just became a documentary.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, in a way, it's like I think everyone can relate to that. You haven't been on your phone for if you haven't checked, Facebook in a week, and then you go on, and then you see like the sea of news, and thankfully not an alien invasion yet, although nothing would surprise me in 2020 at this point. The idea is really fun, and it's different than we've seen for a lot of indie sci-fi. Where did you find this incredible cast? Sunita Mani, I thought she's so good, and she has such good chemistry with John. Is it John?
Yeah.
Yeah, the two of them just really got on. Where did you find them?
Thanks so much. We think that they totally are incredible, and they're the funniest people we know. I've known Sunita for like 15 years. We met in freshman year at Emerson College in speech class, and we have worked together a bunch, and we kind of wrote it for her, and then we had no idea who to cast for Jack until Eleanor watched Search Party. Yeah.
So we watched Search Party, which is this incredible show that John's on, and he is just so funny and so physically funny. His timing is just excellent.
Impeccable.
And we just, as soon as we saw him, we just knew that it had to be him. And in sort of a fun, fortuitous thing, he and Sunita actually know each other. So I think it was really fun for them as well, because they were excited about working together, which was just like a bonus for us.
Well, I don't want to get too personal, but if I'm correct, you're a couple.
Well, here we are in quarantine. It's a little hard to hide.
Does that present a set of challenges, or is it also maybe advantages being, a couple? And in quarantine, I assume you've written like 7 screenplays since the lockdown. But for this film, in terms of approaching it, what is your process? I'm really curious, because you're now like the second couple team writer director that I've interviewed this month, oddly enough.
Really? Did you talk to Celine and Logan?
No, I talked to the filmmakers behind The Devil to Pay.
Cool. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Well, you got to talk to Celine and Logan. They're another couple.
Oh my God! So okay, I'll have to make it a trilogy. But I'm really curious what your process is, because I do think that presents maybe some challenges. But I think a two-headed director team actually can be advantageous, especially on a small indie movie where there's so many things to juggle.
Yes, indeed. It's a really hard job, and if there's 2 of you, it's like 75% easier.
Yeah.
And also, like being a couple, it was a little cathartic, because, for example, the movie starts with this scene where Jack accidentally deletes Sue's tabs and they get into a fight. That happened in real life, and we got to write it into a screenplay, and then we exercised all the drama from our real lives, and now we're peachy as pie.
Yeah, sure. I think also just being a couple, we obviously the end of the workday is never really the end of the workday, and we can kind of keep talking about the thing.
I try to lock it down though.
Alex is better at saying, we're eating dinner now, please stop talking about the movie.
It's like, it's 6:00, it's time to read the news.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we did, I think that like having that like closeness and also like, it's almost like with family, like you can kind of get mad at someone and get over it very quickly. You know, so when we were in the script writing phase and there were like little things about like, arguing about what they should do or, fighting for an idea or something, no one takes that personally, which is nice.
We're both pretty stubborn, but we also trust each other's judgment. So we do okay.
I mean, yeah, obviously the chemistry that you have as a couple kind of translated to the on-screen couple in a sense. I especially did appreciate that closing of the tabs because that's happened to me and it's so frustrating. So
yeah.
That was
amazing. Are you a tabs guy?
Oh, I'm a tabs guy all the way. You have to be. It's the only way I'm able to juggle all my stuff.
Many things.
Yeah.
Now, was there a lot of improvisation on the set? Obviously, Sunita and John like come from that background.
Yeah.
Did you utilize that aspect?
They're like masters of improv. We utilized it in the sense, well, the script had a lot of dialogue in it, and we didn't want to make it a 4-hour 4-hour comedy
miniseries.
So we had a rule: you could change anything, put it in your own words, but just don't add anything to the dialogue. And all the good bits are from them changing a word or two or just making it their own.
Yeah, it was. And also we did a lot of that in preparation as well. I think we, just in discussions about the script with them and just sort of like saying like what feels weird, what, is there anything that's kind of odd here? And so I guess that's not improvisation, but it was, we definitely like allowed them to have input into the characters and the relationship. I'm sorry, there's a leaf blower right outside our window. Can you hear it?
Oh, I can totally. I had the leaf blower outside today. Podcast I recorded earlier. You will hear the leaf blower. It just it's Los Angeles for you. What can you do?
Yeah.
But also, I want to ask also about the special effects in this. I know I said earlier this is like indie sci-fi, but there are some spectacular shots, and there's a mix of some. I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, practical effects and some computer generated effects. How did you balance those on the budget? What tricks did you use, and how did you? I don't want to ruin anything, but near the end, there's some big things happening. So can you talk about what challenges that presented?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we always, regardless of budget, we always knew that we wanted it to be predominantly practical effects. That was kind of what was going to be fun and fit with the aesthetic of the rest of the movie for us. So.
Yeah, and because we wanted that classic style. It's like, tribbles or critters. Those older monster movies and creature movies are our favorites. So we're like, we have an opportunity to do this. We should do it. So every time there was a special effect in the script, we thought about how we could do it practically. And then what we did was we enhanced a lot of things in post very subtly. And then the whole end sequence was also, so the alien is practically made and it has all these different mechanisms inside of it. So if it needs to fly, we put one type of alien inside the fur, and if it needs to like shoot the tube, it does it. It's a different thing. The whole end of the movie is projected backgrounds and forced perspective shots and things. So we got to do all these old tricks, which are usually, big Hollywood movies did them decades ago, and some of them they've been coming back. Like First Man used projected backgrounds, but we did it on a smaller scale, so it was really tricky. But it was really worth it because it also makes post a lot easier. It looks better, it feels better, and I don't know why. It just front loads the work, and I think people don't like to front load the work. They like to put it off. But if you front load it, then you're more or less done when you get to post. Right.
Yeah, post was so much easier because of that. And also we just really liked the idea. It went kind of with the ethos of how we wanted to make the movie, and we became very stubborn about it. We basically, with the whole projected backgrounds thing, we talked to a friend who's a director who became our VFX supervisor because we badgered him until he said yes. But he sort of planted the seed of like, it'd be really fun if you did it projected. Just, I mean, obviously every shoot is different, every film is different, but because of the parameters of what we would how we were telling the story, it made sense. And but he was like, but I'm too busy to take on this project. So we asked a lot of different other VFX houses that we'd, been put in touch with. And everyone was like, that's a cute idea, but you should do green screen. And we just, eventually we were just like, we really don't want to do that. It seems like it's going to be so much harder and not look as good, or, to get it looking as good as, it would have, we would just have to spend an enormous amount of money and time. So yeah, we were very stubborn about it and eventually got Jeff to say yes. And we had a lot of really fun things fall into place, like the studio that we found in Brooklyn. Like there's all these like things like you have to, if you're going to shoot in a studio, it has to be like approved by the city to get the tax incentive. And there's all these like annoying little production things, but they were an approved studio and they had projected like 10K projectors already set up on 3 walls in the studio. And they were really excited that we were doing this, and just kind of all those little pieces started to fall into place once we committed to it, and it made it really fun.
Yeah, we recommend it.
Isn't that the production method? Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't that kind of what they used on The Mandalorian?
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
The Mandalorian. Yeah, now it's like old news, but The Mandalorian has this incredibly high tech setup where they can like move the camera and the projected background moves according to how the camera is. It's like it's crazy. It's like photogrammetry or something. It's like incredible stuff. And we didn't do that, but we did have one projector and a flat background behind them that stayed put.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because the techniques that you're describing are all the techniques that were used in the original Star Wars from 1977.
Right.
Those are all these classic film effects that, I think George Lucas basically used every possible type of effect in that movie that was possible at the time. And now everything is, everyone just assumes it's digital. It's great to hear that that's not exactly where you went. I love that the film also is a great mix of like, there's there's serious moments in this, but there's also the moments of levity. Was that fun with the actors to kind of like find the tone? Because it totally works throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're two of the funniest people, and they also are able to be completely natural and seem like real people reacting to real situations. So we found that like everything just comes out of them acting like in this grounded way to things that are just insane. Right. So if you have something crazy happen to somebody and then they act, appropriately to it, like that's pretty funny.
Right. They were very good at that. But in terms of like finding the tone, that was just something that we were fine tuning all throughout writing, and really something that was on our mind at all times, and definitely fine tuning it on the shoot. And then again in the edit, just, like there was certainly like at times there were bigger, goofier takes that were really funny, but we talked a lot about this with our editor, and it was like, we got to earn those moments where we go big. And so, she would sort of help us like identify where she felt those moments were.
Sophie was like, oh yeah, well by now we can let him be a goofball because he's been cool for about a couple scenes.
Yeah.
I'm curious the reaction from audiences. I believe you screened the movie at Sundance.
That's right. That was the premiere. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so you got to see it with an audience, because I do feel this film is a crowd pleaser. I feel like it's something also that would play well. And not every movie does this, play well at a drive-in.
Yeah.
We're excited about the drive-in resurgence. Sundance was unbelievable, and the audiences are incredible. They like laughed a lot. They were very reactive. There was even a applause break during one scene, which was, it was just unbelievable. We didn't expect that, and that's like the best way to watch movies is in the theater. So it is playing theaters, and they're not going to be full, and they're not going to be in New York and LA. And then there's drive-ins. And we hope people watch it in a way that they feel safe, and hopefully they have somebody else next to them that they can laugh with, even if it's in another car.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a big fan. I've been going to the drive-in since the lockdown. I've been going to
us too.
It's so great. I mean, there's like the Paramount, the Vineland, the Nishiki, and then I was just at a movie theater in Anaheim. Movie theaters are open in Anaheim. It's a little strange. I mean, like theaters are, I think 25% capacity is what they're doing, and everybody's like overly safe. I don't feel weird in the least. I do miss a packed theater. I think that I really hope that experience doesn't go away with all that's happening. I really have to, believe that next year is we can just do a do-over for next year, I guess, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
That sounds good.
Everybody wants movie theaters to come back. So as soon as it's safe to fill a theater again, I think it'll happen. For now, for our movie, we're holding on to the feeling of the packed Eccles Theater at Sundance with 1,200 people laughing at the same time.
We'll never forget that.
I bootlegged a couple seconds of in the back of the theater just to remember it. I just, with my iPhone, got the reaction. And when I'm sad, I play it.
Eccles, that and the Egyptian are my two favorite theaters.
Yeah, the Egyptian.
We played there at 8:30 a.m.
on Sunday, but it was so good.
It's still good.
The best vibe there. Well,
so cool.
I want to ask, you're working with Legion M is helping to film. I think that just as like a nerd that goes to Comic Cons or used to when they existed, Legion M is just, I feel like they have such great taste. They also released the Nicolas Cage film,
Mandy, which is awesome.
So great. And so they're putting together, I think there's even merch around Save Yourselves.
Yes, they have merch. It's
so cool.
If you go to Legion M's website, you can buy little poofs, you can buy shirts, you can buy the DVD.
You can buy masks. 2020.
We did DVD commentary, which I'm pretty excited about, being
we were
a
quite
big
drunk.
DVD commentary fan, like my whole life, getting to do it. Yeah, we had a little of the sauce.
So it's very candid commentary, but Legion M are really cool. We're so happy to know them and know about the company and how it all works. I mean, it's just like, it's very exciting to us to have like a Hollywood company that is fan based.
That's fan really owned. It's like the only company that's owned by fan. You can buy shares in movies, so like it's just really exciting to have a direct connection between these usually disparate entities.
Yeah, I know Paul Scanlon and the team, and their whole method of sort of crowdsourcing opinions about what films they should even move forward with. It's amazing. But you are in I want to point out that you're in a rare group of filmmakers and indie films that has merch. Like that.
I know.
We joked about it.
Beyond our wildest dreams, really, that happened. It's very cool.
We just joked about all this stuff before, and then it started happening, and we're like, all right.
Well, I want to thank first of all our sponsor, Storyblocks. If you go to storyblocks.com/filmthread, all sorts of tools for filmmakers, including tools to do special effects for your movie. And Alex and Eleanor, I want to thank you for taking time to talk to us on the Film Threat podcast. Where can people go to the Legion M website? Is there social that you can follow?
Yeah, Instagram at Save Yourselves Movie. Twitter is at Save Yourself Mov. It was a tricky handle because too many characters. And the website saveyourselvesmovie.com has all the information about where it's screening.
And it's going to play at at
Vineland.
At Vineland this weekend.
Oh, that's great! I love the Vineland.
Yes,
favorite.
We're very excited.
And also, you should remind people, drunk commentary is on.
Drunk commentary.
Drunk commentary.
Bleecker didn't know it was drunk commentary. Hopefully
well, thank you again for being on the Film Threat podcast. I appreciate it.
Thanks
so much, Chris.
This is awesome.
Take care.
Bye.
Later.